Hey Sam, how are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you, Shan?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time to sit and share your experience of being successful without sacrifice. I know how important it is to people when they're thinking about joining the program to hear other people's experiences, and you probably watch some of these yourself. So, do you want to take
Yep.
a moment to introduce yourself and share where you're from and what you do?
Yep. So I'm a physio based in Victoria in outer northern suburbs, have a physio, Pilates practice and concussion clinic. Because we're further out, it is a smaller town, but we're still the only physio practice. So it can be quite busy, but it can also be challenging attracting staff to travel that little bit further out. So
Yeah,
yeah, it comes back to me being always busier than I'd like to be.
that's. And so, do you want to just share a bit about what things were like before you joined the program? Because you had a successful practice, right? It just wasn't quite
Yeah,
right.
so I've had the practice for about 18 years now. Gradually grown it as the kids got older and I had more time. So I did make it fit with family. Now that the kids are more independent, I've put more time into working on the business and growing it and looking at what life will be like further down the track and succession planning and yeah, what it will look like when I do decide to step back a little bit more. So yeah, gradually put more staff on. I've cut my clinical hours and I'd started to do that before I started your program and was making good, steady progress. But I really just needed to know more about marketing because it wasn't my area and not something I was comfortable with. And I wanted a system and a structure to be able to follow it instead of just working it out the long way and making more mistakes than I would have liked.
Yes. And you had a
Yeah.
goal, right, that you'd been aiming for a little while, and you're like, I just can't quite hit it, Sean. What was that goal?
Yeah, so I wanted to break the 1 million mark, which I did the financial year just gone. So that was really good. So setting new goals
Yes, and that was
moving
the
ahead.
first time in 18 years you'd hit that. And
Yeah, it was. Yep.
do you feel like being able to market the team played a big part in that?
Definitely. And I had put on a new full time physio at the beginning of the year, and part of her caseload was to take over more Pilates and manage and run that instead of me making all the decisions as well as physio patients. So, yeah, it just gave me more confidence filling another full timer, took the pressure off, and that's worked really well. And she's
Mm.
happy, so it's all good.
And have you seen more of a reduction in how much you're needing to be in the practice? Because that was
Yeah, definitely.
the money goal was like, oh, I just want to hit this because I've wanted to hit it for a long time. But it
Yeah.
was you definitely weren't keen to hit that if it required you working a lot more because you'd work
No,
that
I've
back.
been there and done that, and I definitely didn't want to just keep working more and more to get there. I wanted it to happen with more of my
Yes.
staff, and yeah, their numbers are actually I think this year and part of last year is the first time my physios have had higher numbers than me, which is great.
Oh, I love that. That's such a great goal to have
Yeah,
achieved.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And has that had an impact on how much you need to work?
Um, so I'm still working well, full-time hours, which is a lot less than I used to do, but I'm getting all of my work on the business done in business hours instead of
Mm,
nights and weekends, which I did a lot of when the kids were younger. So
mm.
it's great not to do that.
And we were just chatting a bit before we started this, and you said, "Oh, I'm working on the business," because there's lots of people who work a full time, um, like full time. What I'm trying to say is full time in their business, but they're still not actually working on the business. They're
Yeah, it's
working
all
in
just
it.
clinical hours, and it's so easy to fill up your days with clinical hours, and it makes a difference to the bottom line, but you're not actually then progressing. You're just staying the same. And I think for me, it also didn't give me the energy or headspace to be able to plan and make business decisions because you're too
Mm,
tired. And so you just put it off.
yeah,
And then it
and
just, yeah, gets further down the road. And yeah, you haven't really made any big decisions or plans.
And I love that you said headspace, because that's the thing obviously I talk about a lot. Like, it's not just time, it's energy and headspace when you get to that time to do the thing you need to do in it.
Definitely. And then when you've got the time, often the ideas will come to you.
Yeah. And the headspace.
Instead of making them.
So what would you say to someone thinking about joining the program in your position, right? Like someone who's got a stable business, they're making progress, but just not quite where they wanted to be. What would you say?
I think it's just really good to have the systems and structure and support to be able to take it to that next step. We can all set the goals, but then having some help to achieve them and keeping you on track. And it also makes you more accountable, because once you've signed up to do something, then you're a lot more likely to put the work in and you don't keep putting it off.
That's true.
Yeah.
I always joke with the women who are pregnant, like they get the best results because they've got the hardest deadline, but they generally do get the best results because they've got the hardest deadline. So what was your favourite bit about being in the program, or something that you
I think it was the marketing, which was the main reason I did the course. I feel a lot more confident with it, and I'm actually enjoying doing it now. I could probably start to delegate more of it, but while I'm enjoying doing it, I'm still doing more myself. And it's good to get more enjoyment back in the business as well, because it can become a chore.
It can, and that's huge because a lot of people come to me and they don't market because all the ways they're told to market, they just feel horrible. So I love that you're enjoying it.
Yeah, and doing it in a way that I'm comfortable with and that suits me. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I just really liked the structure and the resources, and it was definitely worthwhile. Yeah, I got what I wanted out of it, so it was good.
Well, we loved having you in the program. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, Sam. I know, like I said, it's really helpful for people to hear different people at different points in their business and what they've got from the program. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Sian.
Welcome.
Thanks.